welcome our viewers for joining Jesus Way Ministry show today, and we are talking about today where we're coming from today, the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses um, verses 8 through 8 through 12. Let me say again, verses. We're coming from the book of Malachi, okay, chapter 8. All right, through the chapter 3, verse 8 through 12. Now, close by, there's a place close by us, it's a government building that's about to release 171 workers soon, and they're gonna be out of jobs, contract jobs, federal jobs, and everything. And if anyone, any of those workers are watching this or seeing this, I have an answer for your problem today. His name is Jesus. Jesus have a system that the world system cannot compare to. And if you tap into this system, it's unlimited supply of blessings will be in your life. So listen really close and don't miss what I'm saying. And I'll slow down and talk where you can understand it. But what it says in the book of Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 12. Will a man rob God? Yet he have robbed me. But you say, in what say have we robbed you? And tithes and offerings, you are cursed with a curse. For you have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. And try me now in this, said the Lord of hosts. And if I will not open for you the windows of heaven and pull you out for you such a blessing, that there not be room enough to receive it. And he also, and basically what Jesus was saying, that the blessing will be so big. He's right. The room, any kind of room that you can imagine, will not contain the blessing. We don't serve a small God. We serve a God who thinks big. He do things big. So by we serve a God that do things big, we should dream big. So I'm basically talking to the workers. What I read in the newspaper. I read a newspaper article like about 4 weeks ago that the government is shutting down 171 jobs. But guess what? If you connected with the Kingdom of God system, you won't go without. You won't got no food. You won't got no gas. And believe me, if that job goes, God will open up a door for another job to come to you. All you gotta do is be in God's economic systems of blessings. Now, the tithing, which we know is 10%, and the offerings is anything above the tithing. Now, back in the in the Old Testament, Abraham was tithing before it came an order or law to tithe. Now, Abraham, if you read on in the book of Genesis in the Old Testament, Abraham had so much possession. Abraham was so blessed because he tithed. And Jacob as well. They had so much blessings and blessings that the land, and can you imagine the land you live on? It could not contain all the blessings that he had. But it's not just blessings, it's for good health, for protection. The Bible said that he would rebuke the devourer. That means when you give God 10%, he gives you an insurance policy saying that the devil cannot take from you what he had given you. The devil cannot destroy what God had given you. So I don't know about you. I see a lot of insurance policies for houses and for land and for property. But when you got an insurance policy that's from heaven, it's a sure deal that it's going to protect you. But you ever remember he said, I will rebuke the devourer and for your sakes. He said, so that he would not destroy the fruits of your ground. Your blessings before it get to you. Or anything that you already had that he cannot take back from you. Nor shall the vine fail to bear fruit for you in the field, said the Lord of hosts. And all nations will call you blessed, for you be the lightsome land, said the Lord of hosts. And what he'll do, he'll make you the head and not the tail. You know what I'm saying? Long time ago, all right, when I first found out about the blessing of God and turned around, it was my first job working after I graduated from high school. And when I found out that if I give God 10%, God promised me that He said that turn around, He will bless me 100-fold return back on what I give Him. A guaranteed deal, a guaranteed protection. So there's no banking system. Wall Street can't give you back what God can give you back. And so turn around. I started on that farm just as a field worker. But when I got my first paycheck, I took that first paycheck and I turned around and gave it to God. I gave 10% to God. And little by little bit, God started giving me favor. And that's what He'll do to you. He make man on this earth start lacking you. For no reason, they'll start lacking you. And then he'll start fixing you up or hooking you up with the right people to hang around with. And before you know, you got promotion. Promotion that came from heaven, not from man. So before I know it, I had moved from the fields. I moved from the fields, and then they moved me up cutting the grass around this farm, this plantation. And I just kept tithing, and I kept giving, I kept tithing. And before I know, guess what? I was the groundkeeper of the owners that owned the plantation mansion. I had a chance to eat breakfast with them. I had a chance to eat supper with them. And guess what? They paid for my tuition to go to Bible college. I mean, and these people was blessed, and they could tell they didn't know why they liked me, because God's favor was on me. God's blessing was on me. And like I say, when you give to God, the Bible says the windows of heaven open up, and that's what happened in my life. I mean, with all the people in that field that started in that field to work, why they choose me? Why not choose me? I was the one that gave my 10% to God, and God had to do what His word say do. He had to bless. He had to bless me. He had to pour out His blessing. He had to open up the windows of heaven, and that's what happened when I did that. And I mean, it got to the point that if I needed overtime, they let me work overtime. It got to the point that I even got my paycheck before anyone else got their paycheck, and even got to the point that they even blessed me with a car. And they say, and it was one favor after another, one favor after another. And the place I took care of, I was even able to fix my own schedule up, when to come in and when to leave. So God will do the same thing for you, but you gotta do your part. But listen real good, and I'm talking to those who about to lose their job and stuff. God cannot bless you unless you turn loose what's in this hand and put it in His hand. Once you turn loose what's in this hand and put it in God's hand, guess what happens? You do not lose your money. You do not lose your seed. Because what leaves your hand do not leave your hand. It leaves your hand and go into your future. It goes into your future to create a future harvest for you. And what's so good about it? God know how to line things up. My God, He know how to line things up. I mean, it's amazed me. You can tell that. That God's favor was on this, because turn around, it got to the point that that like the days that I need off, most people had to schedule me off. I just gave a less than a 24-hour notice, and I was off. And my salary, oh man, my salary jumped. My salary jumped almost 5 times. They gave me raises. They gave me like 5 or 6 raises within 1 year. And as I got the raises, I paid tithes off it. I gave God those hymns to keep the curse off me. And like I say, those who need a job down in Dow Green or wherever around the world and stuff, you take 10% and give it to God. God will. He told me He will stop that devil from you losing your job. Or turn around, He will make another job for you. Because God can do it. He is the creator. He is the author and He is the finisher of our faith. If you remember in Luke chapter 6, verse 38, the Bible says that God said that I give. He said when we give, it should be given to us. Pressed down, shaken together, and run over, men should give into our bosom. Now that's another part of God's favor on our life. Joseph, if you think about Joseph turned around. He was a giver to God. He was a giver of God, and Joseph, his brothers was jealous of him because he was gifted. He was blessed. He was blessed. And turn around when Joseph turned around His brothers were so jealous of him because back in Israel, when you had this coat on, it's like a shawl, a sweater with different colors. That means you blessed, you favor, you have a gift. His brothers, believe it or not, they sold him into slavery. They sold their own brother into slavery. All because they were jealous of him. They know Joseph walked around with this blessing on his life. Everywhere he went, he had God's blessing on him. Wherever he went, he had God's favor on his life. But I'll tell you how God's favor is. They sold him to slavery. And when he went as a slave, guess what happened? That blessing don't stop. And I'm talking to the man in the jail right now. If God can bless you while you're in the jail right now, God can turn around, he can turn you around, he can make the judge go back down to the jailhouse and drop the charges against you, the man in the jailhouse. That's what God's favor will do for you when you start operating God's economic system. Because God's system has an unlimited supply. It will never stop. Just like hell, they say hell is eternal death. There's no end to hell. And just like there's no end to God's heavenly blessings.